It comes up recording. Okay. Good. How are you?
Not too bad.
So you figured it out.
Yeah, I did.
Was it fairly easy, fairly user friendly?
Oh yeah, it was extremely easy. Once you get to the web page, I mean, it's so real user friendly.
Yeah, it just kind of walks you through, right?
Yeah, I remember having more difficulty trying to use Skype.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
new thing's pretty cool.
Yeah. See, when I do conference calls for work, we always use the go to meeting stuff
Yep.
like that. So
Yep. We
I've just not.
we
Oh,
we
go ahead.
tried that a few years ago. We tried the go to meeting, but it was we just had issues with it. It just didn't quite work out for us. But I haven't tried it in several years. It might be better now. I don't know.
Oh no, it's not. It's still really bad. I've had to do some online training with our region personnel last year when we were getting ready for one of our huge regions or CNIC inspections, and trying to be on a 4-hour go to meeting, and it just you hear like every other word, and the video is real buffering. I mean, it's horrible.
Yeah.
So,
How on our end you sound and look great. How is it on your end?
it's like I'm looking right through a window.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah.
So
Peeping Tom, huh?
right. So how are you?
Excellent.
Very good.
Good.
Doing great. All right. So this is just, I don't know if you've seen the other ones, but this is just really informal. We just kind of go with the flow and kind of see where it goes and have you.
Oh yeah, I just watched Charlie's this morning.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one.
He's a character.
Yeah, he's quite a character. Good guy. Real good guy. So I guess first things first. Yeah, we got glare. Yeah, maybe I should take my glasses off.
I would.
Well, I just saw my video and you can't even see my eyes. The glare was so bad. So
Yeah,
it's all right. I can still see.
I'm gonna go with the glare or go with the blur.
I can't see without mine.
Everything's blurry, but I can kind of make you out. But so tell us who you are. Introduce yourself and kind of a little bit about your background, what you do, and kind of we'll go from there.
Looks like you're in military fatigues.
I am. I just got back to my room. You caught me on a week where I have duty this week, so I'm not at the house. I'm actually down in New Orleans.
Oh.
So I'm stuck in my barracks room this week.
Aha.
Otherwise, I'd try and get my wife on, and I'd probably have a little 9-year-old trying to hog all the airtime. So.
That's okay.
But so anyway, my name is Jeff Dale. I'm originally from Danville, Illinois. Joined the military in 1996. I started off as a builder in the Seabees. My career off in Gulfport, Mississippi, and then went out to California. And I did 5 years out there. And me being young and dumb, I thought I knew more and gotten a little bit of trouble. And I was like, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done with this. And I got out, no plan, no direction. And that lasted for a couple of years. And then I went back in the reserves in 04. And in 06, we mobilized to Iraq and spent 10 months over in Iraq. And then came back. And when I came back, well, then like I said, I was in the reserves. And then I came back. And the weekend warrior thing just wasn't working for me anymore. Like the whole being back in the military was back in my blood. And so I talked it over with the wife and she agreed and said, go, if you want to go back to active duty, I'll support it. So back in 07, I went and talked to the recruiter and my rate was locked up. So I had to cross over to, I'd changed jobs, became a master at arms or military police. And I've been doing it ever since. And I'm retiring next year.
Well, thank you for your service.
That's amazing.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
That is amazing. Fantastic. So you're retiring next year. Will that be a full 20 then?
Yep, it'll be a full. Well, I mean, I have a break in service, but if you look at my leave and earning statement, it says 23.
Good.
So,
Yeah.
so it's still my LES is still written up as if I never got out. That I've done a full stint since '96, but yeah. towards retirement, I had to change my active duty service date to reflect the break in service, so it made me do a few extra years.
Yeah, yeah. So
But
you
yeah, September 20th of next year, I will be a full-fledged civilian again.
really, and then
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping to be a sign carver full time.
Wow.
There you go.
terrific.
But I do have a degree in construction technologies, and I have a degree in criminal justice. So I do have some fallback plans so I can get everything else built up. Because being back and forth to New Orleans and Mississippi, it's hard to dedicate solely on this, and so I'm piecemealing it together.
Yeah, yeah,
Being a police officer these days is hardcore.
It's a little bit different of an environment for the military side. We don't. I mean, we get the reports and we read we get access to oh, the intel reports and everything going on. But I mean, we really don't get near what the cops on the civilian side are receiving.
yeah,
So much.
But yeah, it's crazy that like the woodworking thing is, I mean, I pretty much found my passion again. Like I haven't really had time or the ability to really get into woodworking, moving around all over the place.
yeah.
We bought a house in 2016 up in Mississippi, so I got a shop and I'm starting to get roots set. Man, especially with the way 2020 is going and all these, like you said, with the climate out there, I don't know if I really want this to be a follow-on career.
Yeah.
Yeah, um, I would imagine military police, do you not run into the kinds of things that the regular cops out in the civilian life are dealing with? You have much more, I would assume, much more respect for the authority, that kind of thing?
Kind of. I mean, we run into a lot of similar situations. Like we deal with the drug busts, we deal with the domestic violence. I hate to say it, we deal with suicides. I mean, we deal with the pretty much the same stuff, but we just have different operating procedures. Like because we have different jurisdictional authority. Like we can't go off base and do our law enforcement stuff. Once we cross over what we call the J line, our jurisdiction line,
Yeah,
we're just a person in a uniform. We have no authority.
gotcha, gotcha.
So
Okay.
we're very limited as to what our powers are.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So based on what you said before, have you kind of always dabbled in woodworking like before?
Yeah, like I said, I started my career off. I mean, I was a month and a half out of high school and I joined the Navy.
Yeah.
I was a builder in the Seabees. So back then it was the Navy's, well, I mean, it still is the Navy's construction force.
Yep.
So you have builders, which are your carpenters, steel workers, which is your welders, your utilitiesmen, which is your plumbers, CEs, which are the electricians, EOs and CMs, which deal with all the machinery.
What did my uncle do? My uncle was a CB.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Her uncle was a CB. He's passed away now, but he was a CB. I think he was in construction, but when he got out, he went into the Boilermakers. He was actually in the Boilermakers Union after he got out of the CBs. So what he actually, I want to say like he built bridges and stuff like that. Yeah, he was.
Well, the good thing, I mean, I've been out of it since 2006, but back at least when I was in the CBs, it didn't really matter what your rate was. You were going to do everybody else's job as well. Because it all depended on what deployment you were going on and what the job was. So on a deployment, I might be doing concrete and drywall one day, and then the next day I might help the electricians pull wire. Like it was a very much cross training environment. So I was a builder. I specialized in the builder rate, but there would be times I'd be on a job site and there was no builder work, but there was a lot of electrician work or equipment operator work. So I would help out with them, or they'd help out with us. So it was really good. So you got a very diverse work ethic, I guess.
So in the civilian life, like my son worked construction, he was a glazer. He did like caulking and that kind of stuff, and he pretty
Yeah.
much stayed in that lane. Whereas so then they had the finish carpenters and everybody did their own job, and you had to wait. But what you're saying is you kind of crossed over, and whatever needed to be done,
Yep.
it was more of a teamwork that everybody did whatever they needed to do to get it done.
Yeah, you heard the adage, idle hands is the devil's playground. Yeah, they didn't let us sit and idle very long, because you don't want a group of bored CBs, because we will break something, we will destroy something, we will cause all kinds of mischief.
Yeah, that's my
that's
uncle fit right in there. He
Yeah.
was a wildcat, man.
Yeah, he was.
Oh yeah,
We got along really well.
He was a great guy. Yeah.
I'm too old for those shenanigans anymore. But back in the day, we were hellraisers.
Yeah.
He never grew out of it, did he?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a few countries that don't want to see us back. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So were you a CB when you went to? You said you did 10 months in Iraq.
Yes, I was. Yeah, I was with. I was with my reserve unit. When I got out for a couple of years, and then I came back in the reserves. I went to NMCB 25. They were at the time based out of Fort McCoy, Wisconsin, and I drilled out of Decatur, Illinois. And then we mobilized in January of 2006, and we were boots on the ground. And then we were there until around mid-October.
Gotcha. Wow.
And when I was in Iraq, I was part of a road repair crew. We went around all over the Al Anbar battle space, or the Al Anbar province, and we were fixing IED craters. We saw our fair share of bad stuff.
I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Crazy.
So how did you find him? I mean,
So that's actually a funny story. I know I've told you via email when I first started talking to you, Eric. It was a combination of drugs and boredom. In my defense, they were prescribed.
oh, okay. A lot of mine
So in June, I had shoulder surgery on my left shoulder, and in July, I had shoulder surgery on my right shoulder. Well, in July, it was end of July. I'd already gone through the whole house and cleaning. I was just bored. So I had surgery on July 29th, and July 30th, I wasn't moving out of the bed. So I was bored, and I was narked up on, what did they have me on? Norcos. It was some opioid-based drug, painkiller.
Strong stuff. Yeah.
And yeah, it was good. It was fun. It was a fun ride. And I do a lot of YouTube. I've been doing a lot of DIY videos, and just
Keep going.
okay. All right. Just looking at different projects and stuff like that. Well, somehow I got into sign carving. I don't know what I clicked on. It wasn't like I was actively looking for sign carving. I was just going through different videos, and there was one of sign carving. It had to have been one of y'all's first videos.
Oh, those were bad.
Because I think it was a combination of the boredom and the being high on opioids, but it was his voice that drew me in. And I remember thinking, I mean, no disrespect, I love you guys to death. I was like, man, this guy talks funny. But it, not in a bad way. I enjoyed it, and I was like, no. And I went to click on something else, but I didn't click. It didn't click out or whatever. So it kept on the same video. So I just okay, I sat there and watched it, and he got into his demos, and I can't remember for the life of me what he was carving, but I was like, something just clicked, and I was like, so I started watching more. And it went to the next video, and next thing I know, I'm like 6 or 7 videos into it, and I'm like, man, I can do this. So in my drug-induced, not in my right mind, I go out to my shop. Mind you, it's a day after my surgery, and I go out to my shop, and my father-in-law, he has, I don't know if you're familiar with Rotozips. They look like just a little beefier version of a Dremel with the base plate attachment, whatever.
know exactly.
And yeah, so he had the Rotozip, and he had a bunch of the they look like miniature spiral upcuts, but they're used for cutting like drywall and veneer.
Yep.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm not thinking straight. I hook that thing up, and I get this. I mean, it's like an inch thick. It's treated lumber. I don't know anything about treated and untreated and all that. I just grab a piece of wood, and I'm just hacking away. And I think I sent you a picture of it. It was a Spartan, like an outset Spartan helmet.
Yep.
And you know, I hadn't seen any of your videos on paint, so I used regular black paint, and I tried sanding it off, and it like half the helmet still has the black paint. And I was like, hey, that looks cool. It looks like it's battle worn. All right, cool. I'm a carver now. And so I started watching more videos. I'm like, oh, I'm way off the mark. So I go on Amazon and I buy a Skilled, I think it was Skill router, one of the big, equivalent to the 618.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't seen any of your Dewalt reviews. I really hadn't seen much of your content yet, so I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just, oh, there's a router. Hey, there's some bits. Okay, cool. And I'm just buying stuff, and I'm like, man, this is just, it's working, but it's not like, I'm watching your videos and I'm like, I know he's got years and years and years of experience, but I mean, I think these bits should be working a little better than this. And then there was one video you had where you're like, look, if you're not using our bits, then I really don't know how to explain this to you, because I can only tell you based off of our bits. So I'm like, okay. So I got on the website and I ordered bits, and I'm like, okay, now we're cooking. So I kind of spent a little bit of money before I learned a valuable lesson of just listen to you, do what you say. So I have a tendency of getting ahead of myself before I really learn the basics.
Yeah, that's where the old mentality of the old shenanigans, that's where they kind of kick in. Yeah, just
and the drugs.
Well, it's the CB mentality. We're gonna go until it either breaks, and I mean that way, Emily's we learn how to fix it.
Yeah, right.
That's why CBs are so good at building stuff, because we usually destroy it before we get it built, because we don't follow the steps.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
So now, are you carving for gifts? Are you selling the signs, or?
I'm doing a little bit of everything. Like I said, I really can't devote as much time as I would like. So right now I'm still on my physical therapy schedule, so I'm only really down here 2 days a week, except for this week because I have duty. But so the weekends that I am home, I'm out in the shop and I'm carving. My physical therapist, she ordered a couple signs for me. A buddy that that works with me down here, he ordered a set of cornhole boards, and I think I sent you a picture months ago. It's one of my first things. They're the little plaques. One of them is like the boots and the rifle and the helmet. So we call it the battlefield cross. And then the other one was a K9 symbol.
Yeah.
Well, a buddy of mine, he's our kennel master here. He was over in Qatar on IA for the last few months, and he saw that. He's like, dude, can you put that on cornhole boards? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I've never made cornhole boards, but I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
And so then this is where I get the idea. Well, I'll just carve it and then I'll fill it in with resin, and there you go. Well, I've never done cornhole boards before. I've never done resin before. I learned a lot. I learned a lot of do's and don'ts, but it was a good project, and I just delivered those Monday. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you why it took so long. I learned some valuable lessons with polyurethane and what not to do with polyurethane versus resin, but it turned out. If I do it again, I know what not to do. But so my physical therapist, she's bought a couple signs from me. I've the Loosedale Coffee Shop sign that I sent, the big round. I did that one pro bono. They're friends of ours. They're small business owners, and I say, hey, look, let me do your logo, hang it up. I won't charge you. I just want the free advertisement. Somebody comes in and goes, that's a cool sign. Just throw my name out there.
That's right.
Absolutely.
I've done that a few times. I haven't really gotten into the business side of the house of it yet, like the real getting into the marketing. I'm still watching your videos on marketing, and I'm looking at like Matt Bay. He had some really good information, him and Josh Tolson. So I'm just going through the Minions page and, trying to soak it up as best as I can. But eventually, yeah, that's the direction I want to take it. My little brother up in Illinois, his wife, I'm doing a sign. I have the opportunity. If you go on the Minions page, you'll see my post. But I'm doing a sign for the state park there. It'll be the biggest sign that I've done today. It's going to be like 3 feet by 3 feet. It's it's going to be a huge sign. It's with the state of Illinois, Kickapoo State Park, and then in the corners I'm putting like a white-tailed deer, a duck flying, a bass, and a catfish, and then I've got some other detail work, and so I'm going to incorporate some color. Um, I took I took some inspiration from Matt Bay's Cass Haley sign
Yeah.
for some of the detail work, but I'm not going to give out my secret done because I don't in case I screw it up, then I'm not held
Your
not
wife
held to it.
all this.
But what's that?
What does your wife think about all your sign carving new hobby?
Yeah, it's a good hobby right now. I've made a little bit of money off of it. Hopefully, I'll be making some more.
Does your wife help you, or is she participating in your sign business, or is she?
Your wife.
At first, she kind of rolled her eyes when I came out of the shop, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to be a sign carver. You know, I'm high on drugs and stitches in my shoulder, and she's just like, oh God, here we go, because I'm known for having some wild ideas of, hey, get rich quick schemes, but I started cutting a couple things for her, and some other stuff, and it just each project progresses like, wow, that's really good. My oldest daughter, she's in college up at Mississippi State, and she every time I send her a picture, she's like, wow, you're really getting good. I think you found a natural talent. So then I had her see some of your videos, some of the sign carver of the days that you put out with other people, and so she's 100% behind me. She's actually helping me put together a website, the Facebook page. Another buddy of mine up north, they just started their own wood shop a couple years ago. So I was talking to him on Messenger, and convinced me that I needed to start a business. So went in all in, and so started against the grain woodworking with the focus of signs, but also, you know, other knickknack projects that might come my way that might interest me. So
You never know, you know, once you get started, you never know what you might evolve into. You know, our business
right.
today doesn't look anything like when we first started. So you just never know, you know, you start in one road, but you never know where that's going to branch out to. Yeah, you just never know. Now,
And I mean,
on that big
go
one,
ahead.
you're going to do that big 3x3. What's your plan as far as material? What are you going to use for wood on a board that big? I'm curious.
Actually, and you're probably gonna laugh at this. I'm using one of the glued up panels that you get at Lowe's.
Okay. Yeah, the panel boards. Yeah.
I went through the whole stack of boards because I think it was Charlie Wooster or somebody, maybe it was somebody yesterday on the live. Somebody made the comment that you ruined them because every time they go to Lowe's, they're looking at the grain.
Frank, that was Frank.
Yeah, Frank.
Yeah.
Frank. He's a character.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the same way. So after I saw that video you did I think you were looking at the cedar pickets at Lowe's.
Yep.
I do the same thing now. So even with the glued panels, I do it because if you know some of them you can get lucky, and most of it will be horizontal. I mean, a lot of it's vertical and real, but this one, it looked decent. It looked a lot better than that round I cut for the Loosedale coffee house. So I'm gonna give it a shot. If not, I've got a good supplier for hardwood. He does his own milling next town over, and he's real cheap. Like I was telling you yesterday, Vicky, when I did that wedding sign that I sent in for sign carvers, he had it was a 17-inch cedar live edge. Bark was off of it, so it just had the sapwood, and it was about 7 feet. Now I couldn't use the last 2 feet of it because it came to a point and it was all splintered.
Yeah.
But he didn't have time to cut it down into the dimensions that I wanted for that wedding sign. So he's like, I can just give this to you for $20. I'm like, I mean, just seriously, that would have cost me 150 at most of these places
Oh yeah.
nearby. I'm like, here you go.
Yeah.
And turns out he's a commander in the Navy, and he's like ridiculously cheap.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
he's got everything from Tennessee down to Louisiana. He's got this whole region covered.
Yeah. Anytime you can hold on to a contact like that, man, that will pay over and over and over. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
If you
Yep.
do use that panel board, be sure and put a backer on it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, we had another hurricane come through a little while ago, and of course, just like that poplar did, it has a twist in it. So I've got it. It's actually up in my shop now, clamped down. I'm hoping to try and get some of that twist out, but I definitely plan on putting a backer on it.
Definitely. Yeah, you want to do that. Terrific. Good, good, good. So you're down there for you're down in, where are you at right now, in New Orleans?
Yes, I'm stationed in New Orleans. I'm part of base security here. I've been down here since 2017.
Gotcha. But
Figure the city of Jazz was a good place to put in my retirement.
but where do you live? Where do you reside? Right there.
Well, right now I'm what they call a resident advisor for the barracks. So it's like the RAs in college that have a dorm floor. Well, I've got one of the buildings is my AOR. Well, we have duties. We have to do 2 duties a quarter. I'm on one of my duties. Pretty much after hours, somebody gets locked out of their room. I'm the person they call. I go unlock their door. So we get a new check-in that nobody knows about. I go and I make sure he gets a room and linen and,
Gotcha.
roof over his head or her head. So this is just happened to be my week down here. So my house is actually in Lucedale, Mississippi, which is about 2.5 hours northeast.
Gotcha. And that.
So I mean, even
Yeah.
so, yeah, I live in the barracks Monday through Friday, or at least when I was working down here Monday through Friday, and then I go home on the weekend.
Gotcha. So what does your wife do?
She is a stay-at-home mom, but she does web design. She works for MSCCN. She's one of their executive team members. It's a nonprofit organization that aids in military spouses to find employment. And they have one of the branches that they have, it deals with the National Guard. So when she first started, she has a history with the National Guard because when I was in Iraq, she worked for the National Guard in Indianapolis. So they hired her on, and her first real big project was making the National Guard website for all 50 states.
Wow.
And then that was her little toy. And I mean, yeah, she's been doing it since 2012, and she quickly advanced through their ranks.
Wow.
So super proud of her.
Yeah. And that's again, like you say, she's helping you with your website. Man, you don't get much better than that. That's terrific.
Oh yeah, like I'm lucky if I can get on the internet. So she is definitely my computer guru.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Fantastic.
let's see. We're running low on time, so let me
Okay,
ask
let's
you
see.
what we kind of ask everybody. What would you tell somebody that's just starting out? What kind of tidbit of information or advice would you give somebody been looking at it for a week and trying to decide what to do, if they want to do it?
Oh, that's an easy question. I thought you had a hard one for me. I am your new Carver. I've only been doing this since July. Actually, yes, not even. It was the end of July. So let's say 1st of August I've been doing this. Just keep at it. Have fun. Like, don't worry about the business. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about, just learn the craft. Listen to you first and foremost. Don't do like I did and go spend a bunch of money just to turn around and have to just turn around and buy all your stuff anyway, because, well, let's face it, that's where we're going to end up getting our stuff anyway. But just have fun. Like, I remember my biggest thing, and Charlie hit it, and I think Matt hit it. I think Scott even hit it. We are our own worst critic. Like, I was just talking to a guy on I can't remember who his name was now. I'd have to go back and look in the Minions last night or earlier today. Same thing. Posted a picture. Man, I have all this bleeding and I wasn't happy with this. And I looked at the picture. I was like, man, must have better eyes than me because I see a beautiful sign. And then I got to thinking what you told me, what Matt's told me, you know, what we all tell each other is don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
These are our signs. We're going to see what other people don't see. But then when I was working on that USMC sign that was all twisted and convoluted, and I sent you going, what did I do wrong? And you're like, you're nuts. I don't see anything wrong. What are you talking about? Quit being so hard on yourself. My father-in-law said it perfect. He's like, don't worry about it. I love it. It gives it character. So the flaws, I mean, if you want something perfect, spend the money and do CNC.
Right.
If you want something with personality and character, hand carved.
Yeah, I agree.
So
how are your shoulders doing? What does your physical therapist say about how your shoulders are doing as far as carving signs? Is it a positive? Is it negative? Or are there issues there with that?
I haven't had any issues with the carving because like how I rest on the table, like I don't really have any pressure on my shoulders at all. Like I have my forearms on the table, and like moving the router, I do it with my fingers or my wrists.
Right.
Like real minute or whatever. Like I really don't have any pressure. I mean, it hurts more to go drive my truck and turn the steering wheel than it is to move my router.
That's good.
The only time I've been having issues with my left shoulder here lately, just with the weather and getting some more inflammation developing. I don't know what that's all about, so it's kind of concerned about that because it's been getting a little rougher. But usually we have a cold front coming through that just started coming in this morning, so that's anytime when the hurricanes come through or we have a storm front come through, you forget about it. It hurts. Everything hurts. But
yeah, I understand. I've got my left knee. I've had 6 or 7 surgeries on my left knee, so I can really. Although we're real lucky in Arizona, we don't have really the humidity that you guys deal with down there all the time.
Oh, the humidity is murder.
When we have storms come through, or the cold or the monsoons come through, man, I can feel it in my knee. So I understand. I got you. So
Yep.
Well, that's good. I was always wondering about that because I do things so instinctively. I don't even think sometimes whether my shoulders are coming into play when I'm carving or not. But that you would know it because you're doing that. So that's good.
Well, I give you a little idea. Like my first 3 signs that I ever did after the really weird one, I still had stitches in my shoulder.
Yeah. Wow.
So, I mean, it was literally right after my surgery. I took the next day off to, just to kind of regain some kind of mobility. And then after that, I was in the shop every day, stitches and all, just sitting there carving away, sweating my ever living butt off because it was like 90,000 degrees out there. But
and your doctors and physical therapists didn't give you a hard time or anything about it, or did they not?
They knew what they needed to know.
Gotcha. All right.
I'm stubborn. My wife will attest to that. I can be I'm stubborn.
You and Eric,
and
I guess so.
Yeah, I can't stand sitting still. Whether I'm in pain, drugged up, I have to do something. I have to stay busy.
Yeah, yeah. And you have a 9-year-old daughter. Is that what you said?
I have a 9-year-old daughter, an 18-year-old son, just turned 18 last month, and a 21-year-old daughter.
Wow, terrific, amazing.
Yeah, our grandkids are that age.
Not quite. Our oldest grandson
He'll be 19
He'll be
month.
19, but we started young, and the camera is kind. The oldness doesn't come through.
Right.
Real life.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna wrap it up, buddy. Man, it's been fun. It has been a blast.
Yeah, it has. I'm glad I finally got to talk to you.
Yeah.
It's kind of face to face. It's kind of a.
Kind of.
as close as we can get for now.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't made any phone calls yet, and I've been dealing with email because, man, I don't see how either one of you have time to answer people. I know on your lives you're always saying, hey, shoot me an email, give us a call, and I'm like, man, where do you have time to talk to people on the phone?
3 o'clock in the morning, you know,
Something
so
like that.
3 o'clock in the morning, and then by 9 o'clock he's done.
It gets kind of hectic
It's
sometimes.
It's continuous, yeah.
But if
Yes.
you know, I always encourage people, shoot me an email, but if you need to call too. And there are sometimes that I can't talk because I'm in the middle of filming or whatever, but I don't like the idea of somebody having some issues or problems because my whole business is based around helping as many people as we can and making sure you guys aren't left hanging out there.
That reminds me real quick. I meant to add that into my answer to you, Vicky. That was one of the biggest things that really drew me in to y'all's videos is the passion that you have for this. Like outside of the old video, the nostalgic video, and how those were,
Yeah.
just the passion that you had for this, it was like it really intrigued me, and then I got to the point where I was like, I can do that. I know I can do that, and you're infectious.
He said you sounded weird when you talked when he first heard you. He tried to turn off.
I still do.
He tried to turn off the video, but it wouldn't turn off.
I blame that on the narcotics.
Almost 40 years. I just flip a switch.
Yeah,
It's like,
she's flipped the switch off
Yeah.
many times
yeah.
a day.
But no, it was just your passion with this and how you are with people and just the whole family setting. Like I know Scott's the one that created the Minions page, but man, I mean, there would be no Minion page unless it was for you
Yeah.
Wow.
and your dad, you, Miss Vicky. So like, I mean, you're like the matriarch and patriarch of what this community is.
Oh, well, thank you.
That's
Humbling.
very kind and humbling. And
Well, I mean, to be honest, like I lost my dad in February,
Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
and
wow.
so yeah, we have been in some. Well, me personally, I've been in some very dark places,
Yeah.
up until here recently, and so like what you're trying to accomplish, like you won't get rid of any of your content and like your philosophy of trying to get your dad on as much stuff before his time is like, man, if I had that opportunity with my dad,
Yeah.
I mean, so it's just one of those pieces that drew me in, like your guys' whole family philosophy and how it bleeds into this and how like nobody on the Minions would be where we're at without your guidance.
Wow.
So like,
Oh, he's
I'm not trying to sound cliche, but in a way, you saved my life. So
Wow.
not that I was not that I would ever do anything stupid or like I was even contemplating that, but like getting involved with this and having a purpose again, like the hitting the lives when they are watching the demos, like getting out in the shop and doing some work, not sitting around moping and or me.
Yeah.
Like I found a purpose again, and the woodworking and brings up a lot of past because I used to do construction and just
Yeah.
I found some passion in work again. So it's like just all different things.
Yeah.
And then the community itself is just wonderful.
I was going to ask you about that. What do you think of our little woodworking family?
That's exactly it. I mean, you coined it right there. It's a family. Like it's not a page full of strangers. Like you're the first people that I've talked to face to face, if you will. But I mean, when I'm talking to Matt or Scott or Frank or Charlie or any of those guys, it's like talking to people that I've known forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
like having neighbors across
cool.
the country.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So, or
It's wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah. Pretty awesome.
Well, my friend, we're going to let you move on with your evening, and we're going live, I don't know, in a few hours.
2.5 hours.
Whatever time it is. We're going live at 6, and I got some stuff I want to share there. But, man, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you reached out and wanted to be part of this, because I think everybody's going to just absolutely love this whole thing.
Everybody likes the Zooms. I think.
When you brought this up, asking our opinion, it was just like, yes, you have to do this.
Yeah.
By then I'd seen enough of it and I was like, wow, this is really good. I wish there was more. And then you brought up the Zoom idea and it was like that was the match that lit it.
Yeah.
And then like right after that was when Scott created the Minions page and it just, everything exploded to where it's coming to now. I love it.
To do a Zoom with 15 or 20 people, but I just don't see how that's going to help you.
Not with the time constraints that you guys try and stick to.
Just that.
Yeah.
No,
I don't see that going less than 8 hours.
No, exactly.
It would be crazy.
But it would be fun.
It would be a quick 8 hours.
Yeah.
It would be a blast.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if
actually said he wanted to do it with
like the Partridge Family.
9 other people, so it could be like the Partridge Family thing.
Everybody look down.
So if you don't mind, I have one quick question.
Yeah.
I know it's on your website. I just want to make sure there's no difference. I just signed up for the premium membership.
Yeah.
As far as the router bits, we just do we just send you the bits and you take the money off our card that you have on file, or do we send cash with?
I can do that. Just leave me a note. Use the card on file, as long as I have it. If you order through the website and that's the only place you put your card information, I don't have access to it. But if you called in an order and I have it in my QuickBooks program, then we can do that. Otherwise, just throw $8.50 in the box and wrap it up and send it to us.
Yep.
Awesome. You're gonna have some bits coming your way here in a little bit.
We normally get them out or he does. I don't, but. If we get them like today, they would go out tomorrow because when he's up early in the morning, he sharpens them and gets them packaged.
Next business day, it almost always goes next business day.
Yeah.
Well, I won't be back to my house for like a week and a half, so I got some time. I ordered some new bits from you anyway, just so I have a spare. So when I have one set getting sharpened, I'm not dead in the water.
Yesterday? Was it yesterday?
No, I ordered those like last week. They've already shipped out. I'm sure they're sitting at my house now.
Well, I remember, but I just didn't remember which day, so, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Most of us just order from you guys so we can get the root beer candy, right?
Oh, but it's not root beers anymore.
Now we're sending out, we're sending out
Chico sticks.
Chico sticks.
Oh, no.
Remember Chico sticks?
No, you don't. Oh, that makes me sad.
Okay, I'll order.
I'm just saying, because the root beer candy, the first time I ordered something from you, I got that. It was like a blast of nostalgia because those were my grandpa's favorite candies. I remember those root beer candies, and I have not had them since he died when I was, oh man, I had just graduated high school. The week before I went into the Navy, he died.
Yeah.
And I have not had those since. And that first sign I carved after getting your bits, I'm sitting there sucking on that root beer candy going, this is just mental overload.
Oh, see,
Awesome.
you're not the only person that
There's
said
a lot of
that.
people that have said that really brought back
Yeah.
childhood
But
memories
see, for
and
me,
different
the
things.
Chico sticks, because I loved those as a kid. I remember going to the movie theater, the El Rey Theater,
Yeah.
as a kid, 12, 13 years old, and sneaking those in my bag along with a bottle of wine. And
Now you're going
12,
down
13,
the wrong road.
sorry.
There. Yeah.
I was a bad kid. But yeah, I'll order you some more root beers.
We'll get
You don't have to. I'm just happy that you guys are thoughtful enough to do something like that. That was it was a very nice surprise.
Oh,
well. Good. I'm glad to hear that. We appreciate everybody, and we talk
Always
about it all the
supporting
time.
us,
But
yeah.
we're so humbled and grateful that anybody would spend any time paying attention to what we do.
I don't.
You don't pay attention to me.
That's what I
but
meant, yeah.
You pay attention to
I
them.
pay attention.
I just hope this COVID clears up by the time I retire, because you guys start doing the live workshops again, I definitely want to make my way out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we want to start those up in
Kinda
spring, hopefully. We're hoping that.
Well, it won't be until after 2021.
That's all right.
I'm not taking any leave for the rest of the time I'm in, so I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to go on terminal leave July 1st.
Wow.
So it'll probably be, if you have anything going on in 2022, that'd be the earliest that I'd be able to
We're
do.
hoping we will, yeah.
We're not going anywhere, Lord willing. We'll be here.
Right.
Yep.
All right,
All right.
brother. We'll get off here.
Well, it was an honor and a privilege, sir.
It was definitely our honor
Yes.
and privilege. Thank you again for your service. Stay safe, and God bless, man.
We'll be talking
Thank
to
you so
you
much.
soon.
All right. Keep them in line, Miss Vicki.
I keep trying. He doesn't listen.
All
All right.
You take
See you guys later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.